Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome into the Australia's Tabletop Wargaming Network for another South Pacific ITC Snapshot. Now, we generally do these live once a month here on the ATWN. So, before the Emperor just start us off as well, welcome in. So, we do these live on the ATWN Twitch channel currently, kind of once a month. It's been about a month and a half since we have done one. Now, as I've said in chat, I am feeling like I'm losing my voice. So we are going to be bearing with it a little bit today. Unfortunately, we would normally do hobbying after this. We're not going to be. But we're going to look at the ITC rankings, where they currently stand here in the South Pacific, what the faction rankings are looking like, the events that have occurred before this past weekend, as well as the events that are coming up where you can get your ITC points. Now, this will be thrown up on YouTube afterwards later on this week. I think Thursday is what I'm going to be throwing up, so pretty quick turnaround. But yeah, so welcome into everyone that is joining us live in chat. Great to have you all joining us. But the season is shaping up to be a big one after the balanced starter slate dropped last week. It's really going to help. From what I've seen, a lot of the top factions that are problematic, GSC, Custodes, Deathwatch, Thousand Suns, have all seen some significant drops in their win rate percentages. However, Eldari have not seen as big of a drop as we were hoping. They went from about a 68% win rate down to about a 60% win rate last weekend after the balanced starter slate. So we're going to see what happens after that. We're also going to have some additional stuff for the future snapshots as well. Thanks to Alex the Greek hooking us up with some more details. I really appreciate that guy and his work as a part of the team here at the ATWN. But welcome in to everyone. We've got Wicked Clown, we've got Darren and Zoe. Great to have you all joining us. Let's jump in to the show notes, ladies and gentlemen, and actually take a look at the South Pacific ITC rankings for the top 10. So, in first place, we have got Brody Middleton. He is sitting on 1,138.03 points with 6 out of 6 events. Now, he went fully undefeated at TNAO a couple of weekends ago, so not surprised that he's slungshot straight back up after that event, taking first place off Alex the Greek, who is now sitting in second place on 1,100. And at 26.98 points with 6 out of 6 events. Well, all the players in the top 10 have got 6 out of 6 events under their belt. That is important to note. In third place, we've got Dylan Cowan from Victoria coming in at 1,126.43 points. So not too far behind Alex at all. He's only about 0.55 of a point behind Alex, which is massive. If Dylan's able to get a good result at either RatCon this coming weekend or at another Victorian or South Australian event to really knock out one of his smaller scores that he's got in there, which will be a hard deal because he's got a couple of firsts and seconds up there. If he's able to come first at RatCon, he will probably be able to knock Alex off. But we'll see what happens. In fourth place from New South Wales, we've got Joshua Brody coming in with 1,105 points. 1,105.82. In fifth place, we've got Adam Napier from South Australia coming in with 1,093.53 points. In sixth place, we've got Michael Wood from Victoria. He's come in real strong in the start of 10th to get himself up there, sitting on 1,086.3 points. Just behind that, we've got James Mann from South Australia. Coming in at 1,067.3 points. We've then got Kyle Pearson from New South Wales with 1,046.63 points. In 8th position. In 9th, we've got Jordan McGregor with 1,042.94 points. Then in the 10th spot from New South Wales is Peter O'Neill, coming in with 994.79 points as well. Really, really strong. There's only about 140 points that separates 10th and 1st, which is what you end up seeing happening towards the back end of the season. We are starting to come into the last 4 months, which means we are in the final stretch in the lead up to Adelaide Uprising. We've got probably about 3 months until Adelaide Uprising as well. So, really strong. I like the diversity as well. You've got some New South Wales players in there. You've got some Victorian players. You've got some South Australians. So really solid amount of players that are in the top 10 there. And it's not just from one particular side of the country. So now we're going to jump into the faction rankings. So these are going to be quite interesting to see if I can get that working right. So first off, we've got Eldari. Of course, Eldari are going to be hotly contested pretty much since the start of 10th. They came out very strong. And as I was saying, they're meant to be back down to about a 60% win rate, but it's not done as much as probably what Games Workshop may have hoped. I think the change that they need to do is seriously half fate dice. If they half fate dice, it would be a lot easier. It would probably drop them a lot, to be honest. So we've currently got Ben Ashton sitting on 591.04 points with 4 out of 4 events played as the top player for Eldari. Then we've got Ash Militarum, where Adam Napier is currently sitting at the top of with 726.71 points and 4 out of 4 events. Adam's been on them pretty consistently, but I believe he is shifting into Eldari as well from what I've seen. So keep an eye out. We may actually end up having a couple of players on some different factions and being multiple top places on different factions as well. For the Asiyani super faction for Eldari, we've actually got Greg McGinty from the Down Under 40K guys in New South Wales on 631.07 points with 4 out of 4 events played. Now, he did come, I think it was top 5 at Capital Clash with his Eldari. So really interesting to see him up there, but good on him. He's been solid on them for a little bit. This is great to see. Then for Tyranids, we've got the man, the myth, the legend, Alex Inglezos, or Alex the Greek as we like to call him. On 606.1 points with 4 out of 4 events on Tyranids. And it's notable to mention, he's also the top player for Adeptus Mechanicus with 772.71 points with 4 out of 4 events. Not only is he the top player in the South Pacific for both of those factions, he's also top player for both of those factions worldwide currently. So that's really important to make a note of. He's doing really well, even though he's playing a pretty funny build for Tyranids. He's doing a really good job with him, and it's great to see him taking out some faction rankings, not just here in the South Pacific, but also in the world for ITC. We've then got the Iron Hands, which are currently being held by Michael Hamilton. He's sitting on 497.61 points with 3 out of 4 events under his belt. So if he gets one more event with a solid score, he can actually probably solidify the Iron Hands victory for him. We've then got Dark Angels, which is Dylan Cowan from Victoria, sitting on 655.87 points and 4 out of 4 events. We've then got Adeptus Sororitas, being held by Jeremy Martino with 467.65 points and 3 out of 4 events currently. So if he gets one more event under his belt with Adeptus Sororitas, they did see some points drops, which was good to see. So they're able to field a lot of stuff now. Not sure how they're going to go into the post-balance starter slate meta. It'll be interesting to see if they're able to pull themselves out of the struggling section, but we'll see. Next up, we then got Salamanders, which is being held by New South Welshman Ben Hayter on 529.88 points with 4 out of 4 events. Then we have got on Chaos Demons, Mr. Matt Morrisoli with 790.99 points and 4 out of 4 events. Following that, we have then got Stuart Traynor on Gene Silicolts in first place there with 739.71 points with 4 out of 4 events. For Red Corsairs, we've got Alex Franz on 90.94 points and 1 out of 4 events. So again, you're wanting to play Space Marines and Chaos Space Marines, and you're wanting to put your score under Red Corsairs, you get a decent result. You could actually knock him off that one. Pretty low-hanging fruit. For Drakari, we've got Sam Rubino from Queensland sitting on 302.92 points and 2 out of 4 events. So getting that score from 2 events, really strong. Drakari aren't in the greatest spot at the moment, but if you're a good player and you know how to pilot them, you can do well with them. So I dare say that's what Sam is like, and I hope he continues to get some decent scores on Drakari. Then we've got Corn, just straight up the Corn super faction, which is currently being held by Michael Wood again, with 554.94 points to 3 out of 4 events. So he's got a decent score in there, which is nice to see. For Necrons, we've got Igor Kalinin again on 680.5 points with 4 out of 4 events as well. For Straight Corn Demons, Michael Wood is helming that one up as well with 272.55 points with 2 out of 4 events. So not as strong there. So if you manage to get a couple of good events in on Corn Demons, you could probably knock him off. For Imperial Knights, we got James Mann out of South Australia with 735.59 points and 4 out of 4 events. For Thousand Suns, we got Jordan McGregor on 728.17 points with 4 out of 4 events. And then Chaos Knights, we have got Charles Benstead at 402.58 points with 4 out of 4 events. Now, Chaos Knights aren't in the greatest spot at the moment, so a 400-point score out of 4 events is still really good to see. Then we come down to the remainder of the factions. We've got, for Goth Orcs, we've got Hugh Titchener on 531.47 points and 4 out of 4 events. Then we got Leagues of Votan, helmed up by New South Welshman Gary Morris. He's been relentless on Votan this season and doing really well with them. Sitting on 667.89 points and 4 out of 4 events. For Orcs, we got Kyle Pearson on 641.94 points with 4 out of 4 events. On the Zinch Super Faction, we've got Peter O'Neill on 76.63 points with 1 out of 4 events. So that's an easy knockoff there as well if you want to take Zinch Demons, or the Zinch Super Faction do quite well with them. And then we've got World Eaters, which is Aidan McCune from South Australia, coming in with 529.72 points. Now that's really strong. A lot of strong results there in those top factions, which is great to see. We're obviously in the back end of the season. A lot of players have at least got 4 results. All the top players have got 6 results at minimum. A few guys that I want to call out. Chris Wright hasn't got all of his results yet. Eric Lathuris is the same. There's a few notables there that aren't in that top 10, but they just don't have all their events in. They've only got maybe 3-4 events. So that's what's holding them back a little bit. So speaking of which, we are going to be jumping into looking at some of the completed ITC events for the South Pacific region that have occurred over the past month and a half, almost 2 months now, which is pretty big. There's about 30 odd events. So we're going to go through these pretty quickly. Now, all of these are 10th edition events. So we might see some trends pop up that would have informed the balanced starter slate here. So the first one up, we've got the Rat Trader Tournament, number 16. So this is run by the RatCon guys on July 8th. It's a 20-player RTT. We had Aiden Mile with Cale Stevens in first place. We had Lachlan Morrison with Gene Steele Colts in second, and Terrence Drew on Deathwatch in third. Not too surprising for Gene Steele Colts and Deathwatch to be up there. All 3 players were undefeated. Welcome in, Dragoon Drake. Great to have you joining us, my friend. So, great to see out of a 20-player RTT that 2 of the 3 factions that got hit the most did see some good play, at least in that area. Next up, we have got the Triumph Towers RTT. I'm trying to get this right on the bigger version so you guys can see it a lot easier. It would happen on the 8th of July with 24 players. At the event, we had Imperial Knights coming in first place with Kyle Pearson, then Nathan Bugman on Eldari, and Luke Graham on Eldari. So Eldari being second and third behind Imperial Knights as well. This might have been before the issues were quite as known with towering and having the first level of line of sight blocked in place. Could quite possibly have been there. So again, Knights being there, informing some decisions from Games Workshop there as well. Then we have the TTW Prospect July RTT on the 8th of July as well with 22 players. Kyle Murray in first place with Chaos Demons. Adam Napier in second place on Eldari. There we go. Napier has transitioned over to Eldari. And then Evan Wolfendale on Adeptus Custodes in third place. All 3 players going 3-0. Not too surprising there either. to see Custodes, Eldari. Demons are also pretty strong up there at the moment as well, if you know what you're doing. Then we have a bunch of objective secured events. They ran a 10th edition launch event on July 9th. They had 7 pods of 8 players going instead of a 56-player RTT. So maximizing points for everyone involved. It's a legal way of doing it. The OBSEC guys know what they're doing, so fully, shout out to them for doing it in the way that they did. So, for Pod 1, we have Courtney Hill with coming in first place. I've got no idea what that faction is. I believe that might be Necrons. So, but I'm not certain. I couldn't tell you. Cameron Turner in second place with Imperial Knights, and Jonathan Vitagilla with Adeptus Custodes in third. For Pod 2, we have Jordan Beresford with Gene Steeler Colts, Harrison Darge with Black Templars in second, and then Stephen Van Dev Veriz with Gene Steeler Colts in third. So Gene Steeler Colts going first and third in that pod, with Black Templars being up there. The Mortal Wound protection does help Black Templars a bit at the moment as well. In Pod 3, we've got Thomas White coming in first place with Eldari. Then we've got Travis Kike with Chaos Demons, and then Nick Syke with Chaos Knights. So Chaos Knights still being up there. This was probably pre-WTC ruling on first level ruins. So that's also something to bear in mind as well. For Pod 4, we've got Lachlan Rigg with Adeptus Custodes in first place. Kevin Fontana with Imperial Knights in second, and Mark Bricks with Tyranids in third place. So Tyranids getting up there, but again, Knights and Custodes you're expecting during this period. For Pod 5, we've got Connor Rockwell with Chaos Demons, Richard Owen with Imperial Knights, and Nathan Bailey with Eldari. So once again, Chaos Demons being up there, maybe they didn't get hit as much as we maybe thought they may have. Should have been in the balanced data slate, but Imperial Knights and Eldari being up that high so consistently from what we're seeing, they weren't being hit as hard as they were. In Pod 6, we have Lachlan Bask on Chaos Space Marines, Shelley Woodcock on Adeptus Custodes in second, and then Matthew Cosby in third with Chaos Knights. So again, CSM are a bit of a sleeper at the moment. If you build them right, you can do really well. We've seen Richard Hill do quite well with them as a build, so that is also something to bear in mind. Then in Pod 7, we've got Matthew Dean in first place with Adeptus Sororitas. Good to see the sisters up there. Jaden McGarry on World Eaters in second, and then Adam Beauchamp with Imperial Knights in third. So yeah, 7 pods, which is pretty big for an RTT, but it's great to see. Then we have the Combat Company RTT on 15th of July, which 18 players. Jeff Carroll came in first place with Imperial Knights, followed by Igor Kalanen on Imperial Knights in second place, and then Joshua Hines with Tyranids in third. First 2 players went undefeated, and Josh Hines came in undefeated, but he did have a draw round 2. So that's important to note. Then we have Game Senator Rellen's monthly RTT on the 15th of July with 9 players. We have Andrew Sherman coming in first place with Necrons, Mitch Corrigan coming in second with Asiani, and Jay Marn, who we spoke to end of last week, coming in at third place with Thousand Suns as well. Then we have got the SA 40K Circuit Acolyte B. If I can get this to show up properly, there we go. RTT, 18 players on the 16th of July. Michael Wood came in first place with Necrons. Peter Hatcliffe came in second with Necrons. And Kyle Murray came in third with Adeptus Sororitas. So Necrons going to first and second. Really strong there. With Kyle Murray going in third with Adeptus Sororitas is a bit of a surprise with Adeptus Sororitas, but it's still good to see that them up there as well. Then we've got the Neophyte tournament that they run. Excuse me, chat. I'm not feeling the best, as you could probably tell. So on the 16th of July, we had 15 players for the Neophyte RTT. Kaz Flowers Pearson came in first place with Chaos Demons. Wayne Buck came in second with Leagues of Votan, and Adam Williamson came in third with Corn Demons. Then for the Acolyte A tournament, we had 20 players for the RTT. We had James Marn coming in first place with his Imperial Knights, Sam Young coming in second place with Eldari, and Chen Gao coming in third with Eldari. All three players undefeated, so again, Imperial Knights and Eldari being a big problem, even at this point, only 3 weeks after 10th dropped. Then, the next event, we actually go up to Queensland for the Ipswich Tabletop Association Masters Qualifier. It was on July 22nd with 26 players for the RTT. We have Luke Pearce from the Normal Blokes coming in first place with Chaos Demons. Joshua Wood coming in second place with Gene Stealer Cults. And then Josh McGowan coming in third with Eldari on Laytok. So all three players undefeated. Really strong to see the Normal Blokes getting up there with Luke Pearce, as well as Josh McGowan being a notable man within the Queensland scene as well. Then we come back into New South Wales. We've got the Down Under 40K July RTT on the July 22nd with 25 players in attendance. Jordan McGregor came in first place with Thousand Suns. Igor Kalinin came in second with Necrons. And Greg McGinty came in third with Asayani. Then we've got the Objective Secured 10th Edition Launch Finals. So this was an 8-player RTT again, probably the winner from each of the pods, and then the highest ranking second place player. We have in first place Jordan Beresford on Gene Stealer Cults, followed by Lachlan Rigg on Adeptus Custodes, and then Thomas White on Eldari. So really interesting. The first and second tied their last game on 70 points apiece. So it went down to battle points, putting Jordan up top over Lachlan in that position. Excuse me, chat. Then we have got the North and South GT happening down in Tasmania on the 29th and 30th of July. It was a 60-player GT tournament. It was only 5 rounds, so that's why I didn't get the major status, I believe. Tyler Walsh took out first place with Necrons. Shannon Butters came in second with Votan, and Nathan Princey went down to it from New South Wales, came in third with Adeptus Custodes as well. We've then got the Gladiator Gaming Teams Tournament that happened on the 5th and 6th of August. 16 teams of 5 players. In first place, we had the Normal Blokes. They went 4 wins and a draw, with Brian Lakeland on Tyranids, Luke Pearce on Chaos Demons, Nathan Bleakley on Necron, Sam Rubino on Eldari, and Wayne Russell on Imperial Knights. In second place was Team Inferior 5, which was Harry Harris on Chaos Space Marines, Jacob Warren on Tyranids, Michael Mentes on Eldari, Oliver Johnson on Jesus Steel Cult, and Zach DeGlass on Adeptus Sororitas. Then in third place, we have the We Found Our Carry team, which went 3 wins and 2 draws. They have Dave Kerr on Necrons, Eric Lathuris. Clearly, that's who who was carrying them, as the name suggests. Running Gene Stealer Cults, Justin Lay on Adeptus Astartes, Nick Argent on Eldari, and Nick Standing on Adeptus Custodes. Then you will get to see the final game of Capital Clash on the channel this week, which will show you that final game between Will Wyckoff and Greg McGinty. So Capital Clash happened on the 5th and 6th of August with a 51-player GT. Will Wyckoff came in first place on Necrons, with Taylor Hill coming in second on Gene Stealer Cults, and Dale Marn coming in third place on Eldari as well. So really, you can see the top factions there. You got Necrons, you got GSC, and you got Eldari. So really important to make note of that. We have then got the Combat Company August RTT, with Jay Marn coming in first place with Tau out of 12 players. Adam Woznowski coming in second with Adeptus Custodes, and Chris Ferguson coming in third with Asayani. Then we head back over to the western side of the country with WA, with the Objective Secured Winter Assault RTT with 6 players. Michael Horton coming in first place with Eldari, Connor Ockwell coming in second with Chaos Demons, and Michael Bevan coming in third with Asiani. So again, 2 Eldar players coming in the top 3 with Chaos Demons as well is pretty important to make note of there as well. Then we've got the Fight for Glory RTT, which was 33 players on August 6th. James Mann came in first place with Imperial Knights. Kyle Murray came in second with Chaos Demons, and then Craig Peterson came in third with Eldari. Now, this was in South Australia, so it's important to note that. But again, your top factions, Imperial Knights and Eldari being up there, with Chaos Demons being up there as well. We then have the next Road Rat Trader tournament from the Ballarat crew on the 12th of August, being 12 players. Terrence Drew with Deathwatch came in first. Matthew Thomas came in second with Adeptus Custodes, and Patrick Willis came in third with Imperial Knights. So again, seeing Deathwatch up there, really strong to see, but at the same time, not too unsurprising to see Custodes and Imperial Knights up there as well. So then we have got the TTW Prospect August RTT. This is in South Australia as well. They had 18 players for it. Craig Peterson came in first place with Eldari. Bradley MC came in second with Adeptus Custodes, and Ben Reggett came in third with Adeptus Custodes as well. So double Custodes and Eldari just shows the strength of those factions at that point in the metagame. Then we have the Power Behind the Throne GT from the Risky Rollers guys on the August 19th and 20th. We did a tournament preview for this event with Dalton from the Risky Rollers, which is a great video. If you haven't seen that on our YouTube channel, definitely worth checking out. I was keeping my eye on Boyd Morrill. Was one of the players I had picked out. He was playing Necrons, and he took out the win there in first place. In second place, you have Dylan Cowan on Eldari, so he did quite well there. And then Reese Cunningham came in third place on Drakari, interestingly enough. So the right player playing down bad faction can do quite well. Then the next event, you've got the Roll for Damage Major over in South Australia. This was on August 19th to 20th as well. So if you don't know the namesake of this event, Andrew Penn was, we lost him in the community, unfortunately, over in South Australia. He did pass away, I think it was a year and a bit ago now. And so the South Australian guys decided to rename the Adelaide GT to the Roll for Damage tournament, which is absolutely awesome. So we have Tyson Whitelaw in first place on Eldari. We have James Mann in second place on Imperial Knights, and Bradley MC in third place on Custodes there as well. So again, you're seeing those same factions now starting to pop up. Eldari, Custodes, Imperial Knights. They're just consistently up there. Then we have the Bendigo Open on the 19th and 20th as well. This was a 35-player GT. We have Hugh Titchener in first place on Imperial Knights, Michael Hamilton in at second place on Adeptus Astartes, and Ian Pearce in third place on Tau. Really, really interesting to see for that one. Now, next up, this is pretty abnormal from the Down Under 40K guys. No placings available for their Madawi RTT in August. It was only 6 players. Guys, make sure your placings are available post-event so people can check them out. Because it's pretty important to see what's going on at all the different ITC events that are happening. But yeah, the Down Under guys are normally on top of things. So I think with Ben over at the WTC at that point, it probably just slipped through the cracks. Is probably what's just happened there. But big love to the Down Under 40K guys for sure. Then we've got the Game Center Relin August RTT on August 19th. 19 players were in attendance, with Peter O'Neill coming in first place with Eldari, Daniel Moore coming in second place with Eldari, and Nathan Bugman third place with Asiani. Trip Eldari, ladies and gentlemen. First, second, third. If that doesn't tell you how bad the meta was before the balanced starter slate, I don't know what does. Not out of 19 players, 3 Eldari players take out top spots isn't too surprising. We've then got the Down Under 40K Sydney RTT on August 26th with 21 players in attendance. Jordan McGregor came in first place on Thousand Suns. Igor Callanan came in second place on Necrons, and Joshua Hines came in third place on Tyranids. So Josh Hines, we've seen him play Capital Clash. He's been on stream a couple of times. A really great guy. He does really well with Tyranids, and he knows what he's doing. So yeah, that's someone I'd be also keeping my eye on for the Tyranids faction to come up behind Alex if Alex does end up changing factions as well. Then we've got the big one, the TNA Open on September 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. It was a 100-player major in the end. Brody Middleton went undefeated in first place with 6 100-point scores. You can't compete with that on Eldari. You just really can't. So he dropped a total of 18 points across 8 games. That's huge. That is huge. We then have Michael Mentes on Eldari in second place. Now, it's important to note that these guys did do a top 4 cut. So these 4 players, because we're going down the 4th placing, these 4 players are the guys that were playing in that top cut. We then have Luke Pierce in third place on Chaos Demons, going 6-2, same as Michael Mentes. And Matt Falzone also went 5-3. With Thousand Suns in there as well. So again, Eldari are up there, Thousand Suns are up there, Chaos Demons are up there. Really strong to see from them with what's been going on. Then we have the Triumph Towers RTT on September 2nd with 22 players in New South Wales. Kyle Pearson came in first place with Orcs. Ben Roberts came in second with Adeptus Custodes, and Jack Blanche came in third with Chaos Knights. The Chaos Knights still getting some decent placings. Also fully undefeated there as well from all 3 of those players. So that about covers it in terms of the kind of tournaments that we're covering this one. Now, I did prep this for last Friday. However, I was under the weather. So it means that we don't have the Objectives Secured event for the WA Teams Champs. That'll be the first event in for the October snapshot when we talk about that. But I would say overall currently, before we get into the other events, overall currently, that shows why the balanced starter slate was the way it was. Eldari were a problem. Gene Stealer Cult were a problem. Knights were a problem with the towering keyword. Thousand Suns, quite strong. Necrons, quite strong. Demons being quite strong up there as well. Custodes being quite strong. So not too surprised about all the changes based off seeing those rankings, but I'd love to hear from guys in chat what you guys think of all of those placings, and do you think that would have definitely informed the balanced starter slate? Do you think the changes went far enough? Do you think they didn't go far enough? I personally think that most of the changes went far enough except for Eldari. Eldari needed that Fate Dice change. Sure, you can change Phantasm. That's fine. Change it to infantry only. It stops some things, but not others. Yeah, I just think that they could have done the Fate Dice nerf, and it would have done a lot more hurt to Eldari. And, coming in from the weekend just gone after the balanced starter slate at a 60% win rate kind of shows that they didn't do enough, in my personal opinion. Now, I do want to thank everyone that is joining us live here on the Australia's Tabletop Wargaming Network for the snapshot here in Twitch. Really appreciate it. If you guys have got Prime subs, feel free to use them on the channel if you wish to do so. Any financial support you guys provide to us, whether it's on here on Twitch or through our Ko-Fi channel, really is appreciated. It helps us be able to upgrade our equipment, have more tournament tournament coverage teams going, as we're looking to build the second one next year as well, get that up and off the ground, as well as help our guys get to events and not cost us as much from our own personal pockets as well. I really do appreciate all the support from those who do support us. But yeah, now let's jump into the events that we have got coming up. Titan Twitch, good overlook of the state of play, mate. Cheers. No worries at all, Titan. We do have the events that we've got coming up where you can get the ITC points for the remainder of the season as well. We're going to look at right now. So, happened this weekend just gone. I did mention that we've got the Objectives Secured WA Team Championships. It was 20 teams of 6 players and Kelmscott in WA, September 9th and 10th. So you can't obviously attend that one because that's in the past unless you got a time machine, which I don't think any of us have got. Then this coming weekend, we've got the Convergence of Might GT. It's 30 players up in Cairns, Queensland on September 16th and 17th. We've also got the Down Under 40K Sydney RTT for 30 players in Frenchs Forest, New South Wales on September 16th. So this Saturday. Game Centre Narellan is also running their monthly RTT for 20 players in Smeaton Grange in New South Wales on September 16th too. So plenty of RTTs going on in New South Wales this weekend, in Sydney, up in Medowie. I think they're planning on running one as well. I haven't got it up there, but you could definitely get some 40K action in New South Wales this weekend. Then next weekend, we've got Battle in the Bush. It's a 100-player major out in Orange, New South Wales on September 23rd and 24th. Then on the October long weekend, we have got Moab 2023, which is being run by the Dice Arcade guys. I know Eugene is the TO for it. So it's 60-player GT. I've got some friends of mine heading to that one as well in Sylvania in New South Wales, September 30th and the 1st of October. We've then got the Fight for Glory doubles tournament on October 1st. 50 teams of 2 in Modbury, South Australia. So if you're wanting to get some doubles action going on for your some ITC points, that might be where you want to head to get some games in. Then we've got the Pantheon GT, which we talked about last week with Jay. It's on the 7th and 8th of October. I believe as of yesterday, Alex said there are 8 tickets left. So if you're in New South Wales, you want attending a GT of a decent size, it is in Padstow, New South Wales. I'm going to be there commentating the event live on the ground. It is going to be an absolutely awesome weekend. I'm super keen for it. So yeah, it's going to be a great event if you're able to make it there. Would love to see you there and love for you to come and say good day if you are at that event. Then we've got the Objectives Secured mixed doubles in Kelmscott, WA on October 8th as well. Not sure how many players for that one, unfortunately, that they're taking. Then we've got the October RTT in Sydney for Down Under 40K. 30 players in Frenchs Forest once again on October 21st. And then on the 11th, we've got the 11th event. We've got the Game Centre Narellan event on the same day, 21st of October. Oh, excuse me, chat. Excuse me, that one came out unexpectedly. On the 21st of October, 20 players at Smeaton Grange in New South Wales. So that's about a month and a bit's time. But ladies and gentlemen, that is a lot of events coming up. As we get into the back end of the season, it's just getting busier. There's New South Wales Masters coming up. I know that there's more events in Victoria. There's going to be more events in New South Wales. We've got Exterminatus coming up at the start of January before Uprising. And I'm excited to announce that we are going to be at Adelaide Uprising streaming the Australian South Pacific ITC Championships. It's going to be really great to be out there to cover the South Pacific Champs for everybody. Really looking forward to it, to be out there with the guys over in South Australia. I've locked that in. I'm going to talk with Adam Napier and the guys a little bit more about it, and we're going to go from there. It's going to be so good. They're looking at 200 to 300 players, so if they get 256 for an 8-rounder, perfect. It's exactly what you want. It's perfect Swiss, I believe. So that is actually going to be it for today, ladies and gentlemen. I thank everyone that has joined us in chat. I know it's a shorter stream. I'm just not feeling up for doing any hobbying and I need to rest the throat. But yeah, this will be up on the YouTube channel on Thursday. So if you did come in halfway through and you want to catch the front end of things, feel free to check it out there. I'll be pushing it around everywhere. Also, if you're watching it on YouTube, feel free to come and join us live on Twitch. Make sure you stay apprised either in the Discord or you've also got our socials on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and such as well, where we do the posts. Also, big shout out to Junos in the Discord. He's now doing the events each week for the different streams to know if the ITC South Pacific Snapshot is happening that week. But ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank everyone who has joined us for a really short stream. I hope this was nice and information packed for you all. And I hope to catch you on Friday night for Friday hobbying. Hopefully, I'll rest up the voice over the next couple of days and I should be right to go. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank each and every one of you for joining us, and we'll catch you then.